So, fascinating thing happened over the weekend. John Kerry decided he's going to respond to a question where they were asking him, they're like, look, is there any way that this war can be averted, or that at least the bombings can be averted? And he said this.
Sure, he could turn over every single bit of his chemical weapons to the international community in the next week. Turn it over, all of it, without delay, and allow a full and total accounting for that. But he isn't about to do it, and it can't be done, obviously.
So wait, he just gave it out there. He said if he turns over all his chemical weapons by the end of the week, we're done and we're not going to do it. And then he quickly added, well, I mean, it can't be done. And when the Secretary of State was asked, the State Department responded later by saying, well, I mean, it was a rhetorical question. It wasn't a real offer. And guess what happened? The Russians jumped in it. And they're like, okay, you want it? We can do that. So Sergei Lavrov, who's the foreign minister, says, quote, we are calling on the Syrian leadership to not only agree on placing chemical weapons storage sites under international control, but also on its subsequent destruction and fully joining the Treaty on Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. Well played. Okay, so here the Russians saying, hey, you don't want the war? And you say it can be avoided this way? Great. It can be avoided in this way. Now, of course, the Syrians have to agree. And guess what happened? It appears the Syrians have agreed. What? Okay. Walid al-Moualem, who's the Syrian Foreign Minister, says, I state that the Syrian Arab Republic welcomes the Russian initiative, motivated by the Syrian leadership's concern for the lives of our citizens and the security of our country, and also motivated by our confidence in the wisdom of the Russian leadership, which is attempting to prevent American aggression against our people. All right, looks like we're all done here. Everybody pack up and go home, okay? Now, the Americans, of course, are like, I don't know about this. Wait a minute now. Okay, so should we accept this? And if we accept it, is it good enough? My answer to that is, of course it's good enough. You're saying that you're worried about the use of chemical weapons. You don't have very good evidence that the regime actually used them. We know that they were used, but you can't connect it directly to the regime. Here they are saying, well, problem solved because I won't use any more. I'll turn over all of them and you can get rid of all of them. Now, look, you have to verify that? Of course you have to verify that. Are you going to take their word for it? Of course not, right? But if they actually turn over all of them and they allow the UN to inspect to make sure there are none left, well, then I would say problem solved. Hey, look, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Now, President Obama bragged about how he didn't want to get into wars. He was elected to end the wars. And he bragged before any of his elections that he was going to do diplomacy, that he wasn't just going to launch bombs. Here's a perfect opportunity to do diplomacy. Perfect. Let's do it. This is not when you say, oh, well, on principle, I drew a red line and I have to punish you anyway. That would remind me of Dick Cheney when Iran said that they would hand over and end their nuclear program after we had invaded Iraq, fairly early on in that process. And they gave us a great offer on ending their nuclear program and stopping cooperation with Hamas and Hezbollah. Cheney turned it down because he said, we don't talk to evil. Now, if Obama turns this down, it would be a Cheney-esque maneuver. You got to take this offer immediately. Of course you confirm it's real. And then you say, great, mission accomplished.